All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome to the Wake Up and Start Your Day call. I'd like to thank you and say good morning and welcome to each of you. Good morning, Deb, and good morning, Leanne and Jackie and Jamie and Linda and Val and everyone that's here. If I didn't mention you and you haven't said hello over in the chat, good morning and welcome. I'm waiting now, and we'll. So anyways, give me just 1 second, and um, I'm just trying to get Mrs. Pescosolido over. Um, so anyways, um, so anyways, that's it. Just waiting. Oh, there she is. She's there. Let me bring her over. Boom. And we'll bring over our guest for the day. So on the Wake Up and Start Your Day call, each and every day we have a different theme or a different topic, and on Thursdays we have a guest host. And today we're lucky enough to have a lady come on that's just had some amazing experience, so I want to let her pop over here just for a second here and make sure that she gets on, and she should be here in just a second. She was over in the chat, so I brought her over, and we'll see what happens here. So, good morning and welcome to everyone. Super excited to be here, and we'll see what happens here. We'll see. Oh, there we go. All right. I didn't want to even introduce you because I was like, well, I'm not going to do an introduction until Mrs. Pescosolido gets here because you never know with technology.
I could not find that
I know,
panelist.
it may not. There was a little glitch going at the beginning of the week, remember?
Yep.
And so it may not have, because there was a couple days where Patricia was telling me that I never sent the panelist link, and I was like, listen, I sent it like 2 weeks, you know what I mean? Like, I created it. And I think once in a while when there's a glitch or Google does an update, and I think they were doing some on Monday. So guys, obviously you can see who the guest host is this morning. You know, I wanted to, before I asked Michelle a couple questions this morning, and I opened the questions and answer for you guys, I wanted to just, if you're not familiar with the Wake Up Call, if you've never been here, or maybe you don't know who Michelle is, I would like to let you guys know that this is an amazing lady that literally she's just a normal lady, guys. Like, she didn't get a degree in like Facebook astrophysics. I'm not 100% positive on this, but I'm like 99.9% positive that she's never like flown out to Palo Alto and had like a secret powwow with Mark Zuckerberg or anything like that. There's no like, she doesn't have like any insider stuff. And what Michelle's been able to do over basically the last 4 or 5 years is Michelle's been able to not only transform her life, but literally, in addition to that, she's been able to transform hundreds, maybe now thousands of lives around her. And when I say lives around her, I'm talking about, if you don't know Michelle's story, go look up Michelle Pescosolido, just Google her name, go look it up on Facebook. Like, she'll pop up everywhere, right? You can't like not find her. When I'm saying she's touching people, I mean she's touched people like from having the ability for her and her husband now to have a full-time work-from-home income, both of them, right? Her husband was able to retire as well. In addition to that, she's been able to literally reach out and communicate and touch hundreds of, and like I said, probably thousands of lives now, and change other people's lives. And the reason that I get like so animated, the reason I get so excited about it is because I'm one of the people, right? A year ago, I was like looking online and I was like, oh, who are these Bill and Michelle people, right? And I saw them on a hangout, and I tried to like make a joke one time because I'm a Patriots fan with Bill, and Bill was like, he was like, no, that's not good. Like, I would rather the Patriots win than that. And I was like, wow, this guy's serious, right? I didn't even know them. And I just saw them on Facebook. I literally, my first website, I was trying to copy theirs. They had 2 toolbars on there. I'd never seen that. I was like, that is the coolest thing anyone's. They have 2 toolbars on their one website. That was the coolest thing ever. I tried to copy it, right? I got lost in WordPress for a long time, guys. But the point is this, that's powerful, right? That there was this lady that decided that she wanted to change her life, and she took specific, intentional, direct actions. She changed her life, and then she went out and helped a bunch of other people. And I got lucky enough to like stumble across her. And amazing, guys. Like, this is how home-based business works, that you can go from not knowing anyone or knowing anything to meeting someone like Michelle that, I mean, quite honestly, guys, I don't know if you can meet someone else that knows more about Facebook that's really actually implementing it and doing it. So good morning, Michelle, and welcome.
Wow, thanks, Bert. That was amazing introduction for this early morning. I literally have been up for 25 minutes.
I was gonna guess 4, but that's good. You've been up for a while.
I still have my lounge pants on and a sweatshirt. So grab some coffee, or it's actually a chai tea latte, and here I am. Very excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, you know, I get excited to be able to have you come out on the Hangout. I know that you do a lot of, I know in your business model how you and Bill work, that you do a lot of the, you do all of the Facebook work and a lot of the, like a bulk of the behind the scenes. And so Bill has been to the call quite a few times, and I know that you have been on here as well. But it's always special when we get you out here because you're sought after commodity, right? And so if we can literally like wrestle you down for like 20 minutes, that's a big deal. And so I want to.
Anything for you, Bert. Anything for you. That's why I got up early. Just
is it okay if we just? I just wrote like I put down a couple questions that I think that that our audience would like to hear. Are you down for just doing that? And then if you want to just go off on a tangent that you want to talk about something, you're more than welcome to do that.
Yeah, ask away. It makes it easier for me.
Okay, cool. So guys, the first thing that I wanted to ask Michelle, and I thought that everyone that would be here this morning would want to know this, because I think that we all are in this place where we want to know when you started, Michelle, because you started just like everyone else. You started at the beginning. And so when you started in the very beginning, when you were starting this, when your husband wasn't retired and you weren't schooling the kids from home and everything didn't, quote unquote, appear to be magically happening for you, when you first started, what was the biggest fear that you had to launch a business or to start this new endeavor?
For me, the biggest fear was I was afraid of, failing and not getting it to a point that I was going to earn some income and having to go back to a corporate America job, or a job working with I worked with children with autism before, and I just graduated, went back to school as an adult, went back to get a double degree in psychology and child development. So I was very passionate about that. I was always really good with helping people work out their problems. I have an analytical type mind, and I'm a good listener, and I always felt this draw, to help those people. So it would have been okay, but I wanted to still be able to stay at home with my kids, and that was the biggest thing. So I had that fear that, and let me reverse that a little. That was actually a big why. Because usually your why is sometimes driven by the fear, and my fear was I didn't want to have to go back to work. I didn't want to work for a boss. And so I would say, definitely in the beginning, that was one of the biggest things I was fearful of. Definitely a lot of frustration was involved in it. I do remember those moments. We still have them now. But, I think what we fear now is very different than back then. But, I was frustrated a lot because I can figure these things out. When you talk about the 2 bars on the blog and things, like that, I get it. I was, trying to figure out this whole online world, and I was opting into everybody's capture pages because I didn't understand how that worked back then. I was like, oh my God, they're giving me a free report. This is amazing. Or, I get this free webinar, and I was like so excited. And then I'd realize, oh, I got to buy more. And I was like one of those people that I was hell-bent on not doing it. I refused to. I was just like, I'm not buying anything. unless it's under $7, maybe. You know, so I was one of those people that just didn't want to spend money, and that's bad. I mean, because you should. I realized in the past, I think that, you know, you don't know what you should buy, and I think that's what my issue was. Is, you know, I would opt into something and I'd be like, God, should I buy this? Like, because you don't, if you're on a limited budget like I was back then, I was afraid just to buy anything. I wanted to spend my money wisely. So, you know, again, you know, I think it comes with like just, you know, going back and thinking I should have just talked more to people and educated myself more to know if I was buying something that it was a legitimate product and people were backing it. But being able to know that back then would have been pretty golden. So for those of you that are in that spot, you know, I'm sharing that with you. You know, you definitely got to buy something to get your PhD in something that you're marketing. But then again, you know, it is a scary thing if you're on a limited budget to just go out there and just spend that money. So, you know, my advice is to ask people. You know, ask people that, you know, if you want to do more Facebook and you see something out there and you want more than just what I offer, ask the Facebook marketer. You know, ask people who are having success in that arena.
Absolutely. Well, that was, that's, you know, that, so that, I think that, and that's why I wanted to ask you that question, because I knew that, because I know you, right, guys? So this is the crazy part. This is the crazy part. If you're watching this webinar, a year ago, I was watching webinars with Michelle on it, and I was like, wow, she's famous, right? And like a couple months, before they moved, I haven't been to the new house, right? But before they moved, we like crashed their house. We went to their like physical house where they lived at this time in the morning to do a wake-up call, right? So when I prepared the questions, guys, I knew that if I asked Michelle, she wasn't going to give you some like ridiculous canned speech answer. She was going to tell you like that's the real deal. She had real fears, right? She had the same fears, I believe, that we all have in the beginning. And what's that fear? The fear that we're going to fail. Right, that we're gonna have to, and it doesn't, like Michelle, I didn't know that Michelle had like a double degree and she was helping autistic kids in psychology, right? Like I didn't know that, and to me that sounds like a noble profession, right? Like I worked for a doctor, but I didn't want to go back either, right? Michelle had a good job, that's a good gig, but she's like, listen, I don't want to go back to that. So that's when you guys, hopefully when you guys can see that everyone has this. It doesn't matter if you just started today, or if you started 4 years ago like Michelle did, we all start at the beginning and we all have that fear. Obviously, Michelle found a solution, and what her solution was focus, right? She focused on one after she figured out what was going on. She obviously at some point picked one thing, and that was Facebook. So when you started using Facebook, Michelle, because obviously that was your primary, that is still, I believe, like your primary marketing channel. When you first started doing that, when did you realize, was there, like, do you remember a day, or was there something that happened that you realized, like, you're like, hey, I think I could really do this. Like, this is a real deal. Was there like a moment or a time, and do you remember that?
Yeah, man, you ask the best questions. I swear you do. Like, when people ask questions, sometimes I'm like, you know, I love it. I love to do spontaneous things like this, and people ask questions. But that's a good question, because every question you've asked, I can just remember so vividly. At least so far, you're 2 for 2 now. So, yes, I remember that day and that moment. So, and it kind of leads off of what we were just talking about afraid to buy things. So I finally bit the bullet, and there was a guy I was following on Facebook. And it's so funny because we are working together. So the story's going to be funny because we're working together. I am doing the Facebook in his course that's coming. He's already had it come out. And now I'm going to have to give it away. And he's gonna kill me for this. Okay, so when I first got online, I was following Jonathan Budd. I'm going to quit skipping around the corners here. And he back then was like what you say to us, oh my God, this person's famous, you know, because that's all I was finding back then was Jonathan Budd, Jonathan Budd. And I saw he came out with a Facebook course. It was like Get Traffic or something like that. And those of you might remember this. And I had been online for about 4 months by then, dabbling in Facebook, running my ads and all that cool stuff. And really feeling like I had the hang of it. I was getting results, but I didn't have the confidence. and knowing that I really knew something more than most people, or I didn't have the confidence of feeling like I could get out there and people would listen and start teaching, until I bought that course. I bit the bullet. It was my first like $4.97 or $2.97 course. I bought it, I got in there, and I went, what the heck is this? There was like stuff in there about, you know, video marketing, and it was like so scattered, and it wasn't like what I was learning, like what I was doing. I was doing traffic. You know, I was doing paid ads, and there was like a small portion of the course was that, and they were doing it, in my mind, all wrong. You know, they were just teaching it like just so generic, and I saw so many holes in it that if people actually went through that, they weren't going to get results, because there were so many little extra things that I was doing when I was creating ads that would help people get the results they wanted, like leads or sales. But this person was, and it wasn't even Jonathan teaching it, this person that got to teach it, it was so generic that, again, I mean, if you guys have done Facebook ads, you know that like just picking one interest to target in an ad is money. You got to do that first. But they were teaching, put all these names in there, and it was just back then you weren't going to get results. I mean, so I was like so disappointed in it, I got a refund. And that was the moment, that very moment that I realized, okay, I do know something here, and I'm going to go out and teach it. And I created my first $47 course. My mentor at that time, Mark Hoverson, helped me promote it. And I think I did like a couple of thousand in sales, and I was like so excited. You know, it was my first time to really start making money. And after that, that's when we, you know, started hitting that income of, you know, $10,000 a month. And it was like, I just remember that moment so vividly, and it's just still, it's part of that story. And I laugh now because we were just on the phone this week, and I'm updating his futuristic marketing. He's going to sell my product as an affiliate, like in return for it and stuff. So yeah, it's so funny how things go full circle, and I tease him about that all the time.
It is funny how it goes full circle, and it's fun to see, guys. This is thanks for giving that answer, or like sharing that, like that whole story, because when you show this is the gig, guys. If you guys, by now you guys know, if you're on this hangout, you know, I don't just do this, like I do this because I want you guys to be able to have some success, right? Like there's times, like yesterday I made a little video, Michelle. It was like my first one ever where I did my first rant. I was like, all right, here it is. I've been doing this for a year, so I'm going to rant. And I did a little video, like, and I was like, and I started like laughing in the video. I was like, listen, the reason you didn't get any results is because you haven't done anything. Like all these people are like, oh, I'm not going to make a fan page yet. I'm not going to put a blog post. I'm not even going to do a video because, you know, I'm not even positive of what my message is yet, and I don't want to ruin my brand. And I'm like, well, if you haven't even done anything, you don't have a brand. Right. What can you ruin? Like, what is it that if you haven't done anything, there's nothing to ruin. Like, just do it already. Like, it's better, like, I know it's, okay, so this is what I get from what you said. Like, you just went and did it. That's what you did. Like at some point you were just like, hey, I could do this, right? Like you just like were like, hey, if these guys could do it, I could do it. And then you went, and this is the part that I want everyone on the call to get. You went and made your first product was a $47 product. It wasn't a $300, the social media mastery that's sold like internationally around the world, thousands of copies. Everyone that's done Facebook basically is doing that course, or there's people that have some alternative course, and then at some point you'll see that guy and he's like, hey, thanks, Michelle. You always see it, okay? Like, let's all be honest. If you look at other courses, those guys are all like, hey, thanks, Michelle. I made a course after I did yours. You're like, oh, okay, you're welcome. So it is full circle, guys. And, you know, what she got a refund on, now she's working with that same person. That's the circle is who Michelle thought was famous when she started, now she knows Jonathan, right? Like, she probably can call, and I don't know, like I said his name like I know him on my first name basis, but I'm pretty sure that Michelle can pick up her phone right now and call Jonathan Budd, which, when she started, that was probably fantastical to her, right? Because, guys, I remember the first time I got off the phone with Michelle's husband. I came running upstairs and told my wife, and she was like, oh, good for you. I had no idea. I was like, no, you don't understand. It was like 27 minutes long. That's a big deal, right? And the full circle is this, guys. If you stay around, and not just if you hang out, but if you stay around and take action, you no matter what, you will get a result. And then you just change the behavior if you don't like the result. So I have one more question, guys, that I think that we got a good chunk of, like, if you didn't pick up some nuggets here, if you don't right now, if you don't feel like you've connected with Michelle, if you don't like literally like feel like you could go over and have a chai tea latte with her, and you can have like the little Jean-Luc, like, oh, Jean-Luc in Paris. If you don't feel like that right now, like, I don't know what's wrong with you, right? Like, I don't know where you're at, because what Michelle basically did was she just opened up and shared with you what it was like when she was brand new and got started. Then she showed what that progression was like. Like, I never knew that. Like, that's pretty funny, right? Now I'm gonna go make posts like, hey, be like Michelle and refund products. No, I'm not.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm not.
That's a bad message.
I'm just teasing. No, you know, it's a great message, and the message was this, guys. The message was that it's gone full circle now, and that now she's actually, not only has she probably put more than that $497 back into Jonathan Budd's, really, like, the system, guys, but she's actually gone all the way around to where now she's working with Jonathan. Right now they've been able to do a joint venture, and she's been able to help him, and vice versa. So it's a super awesome story that you shared. Okay, so you guys, obviously you had some success. You realized, like, hey, I can do this. Like, and then you were doing it. You're like, listen, I'm doing it. Like, then it doesn't become a question anymore. You're like, I'm totally doing it. Because there is a point where it doesn't become impressive to you anymore, right? Like, after you got, like, I'm sure, like, a certain amount of likes, you're like, oh yeah, I already got 100 likes, like, for the last month. I get that every day. It's no big deal. It's like when you rank a video on Google the first time, you're like, yeah. And then after you do it a couple times, you're like, oh, that's what I do. And then it's not impressive unless you got like the 2 videos on the same page or something. So when you got to that point where you knew that you were doing it and it wasn't a question anymore of whether you could do it, when did you, or do you like, was there a series of like thoughts, or maybe there was a series of like you had some like an emotional, like a feeling, or maybe it was just a strict, like it was a numbers thing that you saw it. Was there something that you made you decide to branch out, to say, hey, you know what, we can do this in one area, but if we could do this here, we could probably make multiple streams of revenue? Because what I see, or what it seems to me, is that a lot of people, they jump in and then they think that all of a sudden they're going to be, and I'm just using you as an example since you're here, Michelle, they just think they're going to be Michelle Pescosolido like in like next week. They're like, well, I put up a Facebook page and I did a sponsored post and I didn't use my Facebook personal profile. I don't know why I'm not famous like Michelle. What's the problem? Right? Like, people get like that, and then they start to, and then they're like, well, I'll just do this. And they start to sell like 8 million things. Pretty soon, like, they're sparkling over here and they're selling this, and then pretty soon you're like, what are you doing? And they can't even explain what they're doing because they have no idea. So when did you know, or what kind of led you to believe or to make the decision that you were like, hey, you know what, I could do this, and I could do this in multiple areas?
Yeah, I think, you know, it started with, you know, the consistency. That's big, and just not looking at the end result, but looking at little steps that basically create success. So I wasn't, you know, when I first started on Facebook, you know, I wasn't saying, oh my gosh, I want to get 42,000 fans. I started out, I want to get 5 fans today. And that was monumental for me. That was what I looked at as success. That kept me going. I want to generate 1 lead today. It wasn't I want to generate 75 leads, because if I would have always been like, I want 40,000 fans today, I want 45 leads today, I want 5 sales today, if I would have always been that way, one, it's setting up bad expectations, and it's gonna set you up for failure, because you're gonna feel like, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's not happening, and you're gonna get frustrated. And if you have something to fall back on, and if you do right now, I would say get rid of it or pretend it's not there, because if you've got an easy way out and you've got a way to fall back, you're not going to push yourself. I've seen it time and time again with people that there are people that want what we have, but yet they're working a job that they're comfortable in. And they get in here and they try this, and they realize it's not, they want the results that they're seeing us have right now, but don't want to go down the road we went for the last 4 years. So they get frustrated, and they just go back to what they were doing because it's easy. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's just something for everybody to think about. For the people that have maybe a husband that supports them financially, or I know you could probably contribute to, or vice versa, and you don't need the money necessarily, but you would love to have it, just more or whatever. It's the same thing. It's just easy to fall back on. So my suggestion on that part is to get rid of it. And again, I'm going off on a tangent, but for me, it was just small little victories along the way. And I set in my mind, and I know in my mind, that those small little victories compound over time, and all of a sudden it explodes. And that's what it happened. It was like it's like the lid came off the can, and gosh, I can't even say that. But I was gonna say the money started finally coming out, and it was like amazing. It was kind of like a little cash machine, and that was fun. And there's like some kind of disclaimer I have to say there, like, most results aren't typical. No, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was like it finally started happening. And that was motivation for me. And then I'd dabble into like affiliate contests, and I could take what I was doing on Facebook, and I could go and compete in affiliate contests and do exactly what I do today on any business I can bring on Facebook, and build it into, I would win these contests. I won a Dagan contest. I've won, no excuses contest from those guys. I've won My Lead System Pro, and then, Bill and I together, when he left his corporate America job, we win these things together now, and because we're just much more powerful of a team because he completed what I was weak at. And so for me, it's just getting to that point when you finally have got, and I don't have it all down. I mean, I just paused all my ads last night. It's time to refresh them. It's time to recreate them, because I looked at the frequency. People are starting to see them now 2 times, per person. And so it's time for me to, pull them down and recreate them, do something fresh to start generating leads again, because you saw the leads start to come down. So there's always work, and there's always tweaking that I have to do. But, the thing about it is I built that brand online. I don't know, the brand came, I didn't go out and say this was my brand. It developed into this. The Facebook Queen, I never labeled myself that. Somehow I got that. And that's what's cool about this industry. If you just do the work, something's going to develop around that. I mean, like Bert, you're developing an awesome brand. I mean, I see it, and I see your strengths, and if you don't know what those are, I'll be more than happy to discuss those with you later. But it's awesome to see that, and I love to see when people just get out there and own it and don't care about, what people are saying. And yeah, that sucks at times. Trust me, I know. I get people that say stuff all the time, not all the time, but for the most part, it's nice. It's a field of flowers and roses and stuff, but there's rough patches in there every once in a while. But again, what I'm trying to say is when I knew that I was able to do that, that was a great feeling, and that if there's an affiliate contest out there that I'm really excited about the product and passionate about, I will jump in, because I know what I've done on Facebook can get results. And honestly, it's because I've built relationships with people. I would love to be able to build with every single person, every 40-something thousand fans, but I can't. I only have so many hours in the day, so it's usually the squeaky wheel gets the grease. The ones that I see a lot of familiar names on here. I've talked to a lot of you on here. I hope we've built relationships. If we haven't, just shout a little more for me, or with anybody. That's the thing. And then don't take it personally sometimes when people don't respond, because I feel bad sometimes, but it's hard. Like when Bert, you were telling me, I sent the webinar link on Monday, I was like, oh my God, I have 3,000 emails on that day. And I couldn't find it. So, I don't know if that's answering your question exactly, but yeah, I think that just, really taking small steps and celebrating each small victory, and don't put a lot of pressure on yourself to get to the end by any certain time or date. It's the small little victories along the way. I don't care how small they are, you celebrate them, because that means you're moving your business forward.
Awesome. That's some phenomenal stuff. Literally, Literally, I just took, guys, this is, I know people think I'm crazy, right? I'm like, oh, this is what I did while Michelle was talking, right? There's like, it looks like someone's whiteboard. There's like arrows crossing back, going to it. Guys, we got some big stuff today, right? We found out that maybe you didn't know that, guess what? It's true. Michelle Pescosolido actually is a human being. She does not a Facebook robot, right? She had fears just like everyone else did in the beginning, and how she overcame her fears was by taking action, right? She found a solution. She took action, and she walked through the fear that she had to spend a little bit of money, and that story wasn't about spending money. It was about investing in herself. It was about Michelle investing in her future, allowing herself to be able to absorb and learn some new skills, some new methods, so that she could go out there and apply them, right? We found out that there's a $47 Michelle Pescosolido product somewhere out there. I bet someone can find it somewhere if you're really...
I bet you could. It's outdated. Right? It's got to be outdated.
It probably is not current to the current stuff, but you could find it if you look, so that's pretty fun. Guys, you can see the full circle of her business, of how she started, and she was and she told a story. So it wasn't like it was just like you heard it, like you heard a story of a story. Today you got to hear it live, of a story of what it was like when she was brand new, and the people that she looked up to and her mentors, and now full circle about her being able to work with those people. And I don't mean like work for them, guys. I mean stand next to them side by side and work as a team, right? And that's a huge climb up a hill, and she told you exactly how she did it, right? She told you how she was able to do that branch out, and it was taking consistent action. It was doing something regularly, right? And excuse me, it was taking little tiny steps. That was it. And guys, I'm going to tell you one thing that is a resource that I have that may help you do exactly what Michelle told you she did. She said something that this is what the big arrow is, right? It's fall back. Is don't have something to fall back on. And I would like to make the disclaimer that Michelle made. My results, Michelle's results, everyone's results may not be typical, so you may have a different result. So you may not want to do what I did, guys, but I read a book by a guy, and it just happens that this guy, and I'm not trying to be religious on you, so if you're not religious, I'm not trying to push religion on you. I'm just telling you up front, if you go get this book, so you know, this guy is a pastor. He's a Christian pastor out of like North Carolina, big, massive, huge church, right? And he wrote a book. It's called Greater, just like the word great, E-R. His name's Stephen Furtick, okay? This book, and I got to go and hear this guy live, and this like the weekend before I quit my job last year. And so I listened to this guy live talk about what Michelle said. You want to make I'm just saying, guys, if you want to go out and do something big like what Michelle did and change the world, like Michelle effectively changed the world around her. She created a whole new life for her and her family, and she's now touching thousands of people around the world. If you want to do something like that, this gentleman talks about this, and he talks about burning your plows, right? And it's a story from like back in the day about the Bible, about this guy that was like a plower guy, and that's what he did. He followed the plows all day, right? The dust and the poo, and he's just walking with the plow, and some other dude came to him, right? And this is how I feel, guys. Like, I'm the dude that's like the plower dude. And then Michelle came, and she was like, hey, Bert, you want to come and do this? You could totally do it, too. And I was like, are you sure? And she was like, yeah, but check this out. If you want to do it, the best way to do it is take off the yoke, like off around your thing, let go of the plow, but don't just leave it here in the field and walk away, because then it will still be here. See, don't just, and this is what I heard, guys, and like I said, my results aren't typical. I heard them tell me, you don't have to leave the stuff there. You don't have to have the cubicle waiting, right? And this guy tells the guy, burn the plow, burn it all, get rid of it, have nothing to fall back on. For me, that looked like going into my employer and saying, hey, I appreciate everything that you've done for me. I really love you, but I would like to be done working here in 30 days from now, right? That's what it looked like for me. That's it. Like, that's how I burned my plows. So whatever that looks like for you, Michelle gave you what I think could maybe be the most important nugget of all. Literally of all of the whole thing of working from home, guys, right? Because even if you have your big why or your reason, if you can have the big why, but if you have something to fall back on, you always will. And most likely you always will. 98% of people always will, right? There's like the 2% people that'll just go for it. But most of the people will just go back to what's comfortable. So, Michelle, thank you so much for sharing that. That validated me to be able to share that book. I shared it before, and I was like, I don't know if I should be sharing this with people. I don't want people to go quit their jobs and be like, hey, dude, I quit my job, and I'm not rich in 30 days. You know, I'm like, hey, I didn't tell you to do that. So.
No, I appreciate it. And you know, thanks for having me out. This was a lot of fun, and you definitely have to come over. You want to see my favorite? Wait, here. You want to see my favorite part?
Yeah.
Okay, see.
Oh, there's the fish tank. The red carpeted stairway, guys. Look at that. It's like you're going into the Oscar Awards every night when you go up, or when you wake up every day. You come down the stairs.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, that's super fun. I haven't been to your house yet, and just from pictures, this is ridiculous, guys. I'm talking to Michelle Pescosolido at like.
I just took you on a tour.
I know, 9 o'clock in the morning on her computer, and I'm telling her about my favorite part of her house that I've never been to. My favorite part of the Pescosolido house is the outside TV by the fireplace. That is sweet. Like, is that where you're watching the Super Bowl?
I don't know. It depends on the weather. If it's.
Because I guess it does get cold in Texas. I forget.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be great. Maybe the weather. I'll have to look it up, but definitely. If the weather's nice. But it's hard. It's hard to watch there because that TV, like we've got a massive TV in our living room. We've got the one we won from MLSP hanging in our bedroom. So it's like 60 inches in our bedroom. It's freaking hilarious that we have such a big television in our bedroom because when we came here, they already had one mounted on the wall here. So we had this other one we wanted to use. And then outside is not as big. So I'm kind of spoiled by the big television. But if it's nice weather, yeah, I'm going to be out there.
Right? It's pretty. You guys have a pool?
You got to come.
I know, right? Well, I was talking to Jessica, and I was like, hey, listen, if the Patriots beat Denver, because I live here in Colorado, guys, right? So just so you guys know, if you're a Patriots fan, there's nothing on the planet that you would like to see more than other than the Patriots win, than the Broncos lose, literally. For me, anyways. And so I was like, hey, if the Patriots beat the Broncos, I'm gonna just call Bill and see if he's. I'm just gonna fly to Texas, right?
You should come anyways. Seriously,
I was like, dude, if the Patriots win and they go, I was like, if there's anyone that would actually like say like, let's just spend some money and do it, I was like, Bill would probably go. And so that was my thought. I was like, listen, if they beat Denver, I'm gonna. We would have gone. Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna ask Jessica if I could go to the Super Bowl.
We would have gone.
Crazy, right? Like crazy, guys. So thank you for coming today, Michelle. Like, guys, this is the crazy part, that if you just take some action and get some results, that's it. That's all it takes, right? Michelle took some action. She got massive results because she made a lot of noise. She made a lot of noise, and a lot of people noticed her, and that's the key. But check this out. If you just make noise in the corner, and you're just standing back in the corner there, and you're just like, ah, making noise and crying, no one's going to pay attention, okay? Because there's like 27,000 people crying in the corner. But if you step out of the corner and you stop crying and you just try something, anything, people will respond. People will respond just because you are willing to try it, right? Just because you are willing to take the effort and get some result, people will respond to you. And then if it's not the result that you wanted, you can change the behavior, right? I know we said that a million times over and over, guys, but it's so very important. Michelle is a great example of the main lesson: walking through fear and then staying focused. Literally, every single person I've talked to in the last year that's all over the board has done 87 things, and then I always say, hey dude, remember what they told us to do in the beginning? Everyone's answer is the same. Yeah, focus on one thing. There it is, guys. No one calls Michelle Pescosolido the Google Plus lady, right? No one's like, oh my gosh, Michelle Pescosolido, SEO wizard. No, she's Facebook, guys. That's it. She does Facebook, and she rules it, right? They made her the queen of it. So thank you, Michelle, for coming on this morning. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Guys, please go check out Michelle's Facebook page. I think it's just Michelle Pescosolido, right?
Yep.
And you can find her. She's wearing a blue shirt. You'll see her blue blouse. And go connect with her, right? Go post on her page. Thank you for sharing this morning. And then I know, guys, we went a little over. It's hard sometimes on the guest day not to go over, right? So I know that if you missed part of the My Lead System Pro call, because a lot of people here go over there, go over and you can always listen to the recording. We did a Thankful Thursday post in the group, so you can always go over there and tag the post. Thank you so much, Michelle, for coming out today and really just sharing something a little bit different. I know it wasn't really Facebook stuff that we talked about, but I wanted to be able to share something different today.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Thanks for having me. It's always good to get my brain picked and, share stories and things that I don't think are very significant, and you definitely made me feel like maybe that was a little bit significant and helpful, so I hope it was to a lot of people. And, again, I see a lot of nice comments. You're very welcome, and happy to be here, Bert.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you guys all for being here. Tomorrow is Fantabulous Friday. We do free stuff, so we always give out something free on Fridays. So bring your family and your friends and all your people and tell your team to come on Friday. Remember, guys, that you can go back and watch the replay of this on YouTube. So maybe you want to share Michelle's hangout this morning with your team. Maybe you want to share it with some of the people that you're working with online. Remember that you can go back to YouTube, the user, and then just Bert Bledsoe, and you can grab that link and you can send it to people, guys. You could email this out to your list, to your people, and be like, hey, did you get to see Michelle this morning? So thank you for being here. Remember tomorrow's free stuff, and as always, you can get registered at freedailycoaching.com, and don't forget, go out and tag Michelle's page right away and tell her thank you again, and thank you, Michelle, for coming out today.
Thank you for having me. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.